Let's talk about foundations and straps and corners. So when you build a house, the cheapest, easiest home to build is a box. You have 4 corners, and if you did it with all the material sizes, you'd virtually have no waste, and it would be simple and cheap to build. The problem is, it rarely follows the design element of making it look good, and we don't want to build a box, right? So if we can follow some of that rule and minimize that, we can still save some money. So these are foundation straps. And this is your typical foundation strap. They put it in the wet concrete after your foundation's been poured, and they're every so many feet, but they have to be in a certain location, and they're the straps that hold the wood framing onto your home, the hurricane straps, all right? The problem happens when these straps aren't put in the exact right location to where they hit the wood studs to attach to. And it happens more often than not because there's been no precedent set on how to make sure they get in the right spot. The engineer just says, this is about where you need it, here, 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 and here. And so here's an example. I'm gonna go back and forth to this picture for a moment, but here's an example of a strap in the wrong spot. It's right in front of a window, and it should have been moved over to where the edge of the window is to hit those wood studs to get a full grab. So what happens is, if those get put in the wrong spot, the inspector sees that, and he says, that strap, we're not gonna count it, so it fails. So you, the homeowner, have to buy another strap. Well, originally, these are about $10 to $15 for a strap. It's usually, you hire a kid that's $10 to $15 an hour to put it in, or the foundation company does, and there's 20 of these on your house on average. There might be 15, there might be 30. If it gets cut off and not used anymore, the engineer has to write a letter on how to fix it. These are the 2 straps you generally use to fix it. And the install, so here's the actual bottom of the strap. This runs up, so it's kind of upside down. You have to drill into the concrete, epoxy a bolt in, and attach this to it. These straps generally cost $20 to $30 to put in, so now you've tripled your cost on straps, which could end up costing you $500 to as much as $2,000 to fix on a typical home, all right? So how do you fix that? One of the things we discovered as we interviewed foundation companies that were dealing with this quite a bit, here's what those straps would look like on a plan, the little black dots. So you can see how many are on this 1,800 square foot home, or whatever size. It's about 2,000 square feet. Here is a close-up of where those straps are. We discovered that if we dimension and locate those, they rarely, if ever, get missed. And you say, well, why doesn't everybody do that? Well, the first time the airplane was invented, not a lot of people were using it, right? So it's kind of a new thought to solve the problem before it becomes a problem. So we actually pay our engineers a little bit more to go through and spend the time dimensioning and locating where all these straps go in order to save our clients a little extra money when they go to build their house. Foundation corners, let me talk about that a little bit. So you can see this house looks like it has a lot of corners on it, but in reality, here's what the foundation looks like. Those corners were actually cantilevers or like springboards sticking out to get a little more extra space up in those rooms. So this foundation is generally pretty square, all right?